This was the glorious moment when our flag was hoisted on the Red Fort for the first time amidst free Indian citizens. Our beloved Tricolour. A flag that commands our respect. A flag that inspires every Indian. A flag that we are identified with. A flag that stirs our emotions. But what is this? This saddens us. After all, what is this tricolour flag? Is it just a piece of cloth? An inanimate object that can be purchased in the market? A flag subject to the mercy of the wind? It may flutter or it may not. Is the flag so important? Should we all respect it? Is it so sacred? To know the answers, let us peep into a few pages of our history. Anthropological studies confirm that totemism was a part of human life since ages all over the world, and with the invention of the cloth, the flags came into existence. In all the civilizations of the world, flags became important symbols. The study of Ramayana and Mahabharata reveals the immense importance given to the dhwajas and patakas. The emblems on dhwaja convey a lot. Dronacharya's flag shows a Vedika with Kamandalu and Dhanushya. Ravana's flag carried an image of Veena, as he was a music lover. In medieval period, ancestors of Ranas of Chittor claimed descent from the sun god. Rana Pratap fought under this flag called Changi. A rising sun and a lion was supposed to be a flag of Hussain. As a descendant of great warriors, the Mughals adopted this flag, Alam. Bhagwa Jhanda. Chhatrapati Shivaji, the founder of Maratha kingdom, wielded Bhagwa Jhanda. The advent of British Raj gave birth to a new set of traditions, standards, rules and protocols with regard to the use of flags. The Viceroy's standard had the Union Jack superimposed with the Jewel of India. As the Governor General, his flag had a lion mounted on the crown against a blue field. During the East India Company's rule, 565 princely states had their own flags. And it was the tyranny of British rules that sowed the seeds of oneness in us and ultimately that gave rise to Indian nationalism. The First War of Indian Independence. Bahadur Shah Zafar fought under this flag with lotus and roti. But Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi and other martyrs fought under their own flags. The revolt was crushed, but the need for a common flag was realized. Our thinkers were impressed by Western political thought, especially the French Revolution and its motto, liberty, equality and fraternity, acquainted the Indians with the idea of nationalism. Thinkers and reformers like Raja Ram Mohan Roy crusaded for liberty and equality in India, inspired by the French tricolour. In 1885, Indian National Congress came into being. But it had no flag of its own. Sister Nivedita, an Irish disciple of Swami Vivekananda, conceived of a national flag for India. It was square in shape, 108 jyotis all along the border, Vajra, and Vande Mataram in Bengali script. When earthquake, famine and plague wreaked havoc on the nation, partition of Bengal was inflicted upon the people. The leaders condemned it and declared it a black day. The people took to the streets in protest, and since then, Vande Mataram became the song of the nation. Subsequently, this gave rise to the Swadeshi movement. During this period, Sachindra Prasad, in association with Sukumar Mitra, designed the national flag for the Swadeshi movement. It had 3 strips, 8 lotuses representing 8 provinces, Vande Mataram, and the sun and the crescent moon as symbols of Hindu and Muslim communities. On the 7th of August 1906, Surendranath Banerjee hoisted it to the bursting of 101 crackers. For the first time, the tricolour was unfurled, ushering in a new era. The British rulers could sense the gravity of the situation. They imposed ban on the Swadeshi movement and on singing Vande Mataram. Troops were summoned, but the national leaders had aroused the people of India politically. Burning the foreign goods became fashion of the day. Finally, the government had to succumb to the nationalist forces, and partition of Bengal was annulled. Since then, the urge to have a national flag had gripped the Indian psyche, not only in India, but also abroad. The brilliant Indian students like Veera Savarkar designed the national flag for the country. During the Second International Socialist Congress in Germany, Madame Kama was present there with a tricolour. Waving this flag, she announced,
"This flag is of Indian independence. Behold, it is born. It is already sanctioned by the blood of martyred Indians. I call upon you all to rise and salute this flag of Indian independence. In the name of this flag, I appeal to the lovers of freedom all over the world to cooperate with this flag in freeing 1/5 of the human race."
Tiranga was conceived in different countries in different forms. Gadhar Party, formed in USA, also adopted tricolour with an emblem of crossed swords. In India, Gandhiji also preferred 3-color flag representing Hindu, Muslim and other religions. It was Lala Hansraj Sondhi of Gurdaspur who suggested that the charaka should find a place in the national flag. This idea fascinated Gandhiji. He saw in charaka an embodiment of India and its possible redemption from all its ills. Gandhiji summoned Pingle Venkaiah, a youth from Andhra Pradesh, who was already designing a flag, and gave him the idea. The arrangement of the colour was also meaningful. According to Gandhiji, the weakest numerically occupied the first place. The Islamic colour comes next, and the Hindu colour comes last. The idea being, the strongest should act as a shield to the weakest. Gandhiji was also keen to see that the flag was made of khadi, since charaka, or the spinning wheel, is the best means to secure India's economic independence and complete Swaraj. This flag was hoisted in Ahmedabad for the first time in 1921. During the industrial exhibition, tricolour was flying on one of the stalls. The divisional commissioner of Bhagalpur objected to it and wanted it to pull it down. But the Satyagrahis took a firm stand and refused to budge. The situation became tense, and finally a compromise was arrived at, and it was agreed to fly the Union Jack along with the tiranga. No, the Union Jack had to fly a little higher. But in the minds of the Indian people, the charaka tiranga had occupied a very high position. Though both the flags were flying, only tiranga commanded great respect. This flag was a symbol of imminent revolution. The British rulers resented the compromise. They had realized that this flag was a threat to their imperialist interests. The issue was raised in the British Parliament, and the British government made it categorically clear that in no circumstances should the Gandhi flag be flown. The tiranga had to be pulled down. Physically, the flag had to go down. But the tiranga yatra continued in the hearts of the millions of Indians. Elected members of the municipality wanted to fly the tiranga. Permission was flatly refused by the government. The members resigned in protest. Soon the whole of Jabalpur was in ferment, and this was the beginning of the flag satyagraha. In March 1922, Gandhiji was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment for his writing in Young India. On the first anniversary of his conviction, the city congress took out a big flag procession led by Pandit Sundarlal and Nathuram Modi. But the assistant superintendent of police stopped the procession. Pandit Sundarlal sought for required license, but the ASP did not approve of it, saying,
I can give you the license, but procession of thousands of people will disturb the peace of the inhabitants.
Only 10 persons will go in procession.
But 10 persons can also disturb the peace.
All the 10 persons will go with cloths tied on their mouth.
But they will go with the Tricolour flag.
Surely, they will go with the Tricolour flag.
Then listen, we have no objection even if you take these thousands of persons shouting slogans. But in no case permission would be granted even to carry a single flag in the procession.
You also listen. Only one man would go, that too cloth tied on his mouth, but he will have the flag in his hand.
That ended the matter temporarily. But it clearly spelt out the presence of one flag was worth slogans by thousands. Soon Jabalpur became the center of civil disobedience and freedom movement under this flag. Despite the prohibitory orders, batches of volunteers carried the flag and courted arrest. Pandit Sundarlal was arrested and sentenced to 6 months imprisonment. Nagpur Congress Committee organized a flag procession. Hundreds were arrested and fined ₹60 each. They refused to pay the fine and hence sentenced to 2 months imprisonment. Seth Jamnalal Bajaj organized a flag satyagraha in a big way. Several Congress leaders, including Vinoba Bhave, were arrested. Seth Jamnalal Bajaj was sentenced to 18 months rigorous imprisonment and a fine of ₹3,000. He refused to pay the fine. His car was put to auction. Repeated announcements were made in the city of Nagpur regarding the auction, but no one from Nagpur bid for it. On his arrest, Sardar Patel took the charge of the struggle. Thousands joined the satyagraha, including the children. Growing response from the public forced the government to retreat. Addressing a public meeting, Sardar Patel said, "The honor of our flag and our right to hold public procession in a peaceful and orderly manner has been fully vindicated. I regard this as a triumph of truth and non-violence." Shyamlal Gupta, a famous freedom fighter from Uttar Pradesh, composed a song. Simon's commission visited Madras. People again rallied under Tiranga to protest against Simon's commission. On the 12th of March 1930, Gandhiji launched the second disobedience movement and set out from Sabarmati to Dandi. During the march, large crowd gathered, joined the march with tricolors. The movement spread rapidly. In Nagaland, a 13-year-old girl, Rani Gaidilu, was sentenced to life imprisonment. Hundreds of women were arrested for taking out flags in procession. All over India, the number of satyagrahis went up to 90,000. By now, the tiranga had become very popular throughout the country. But few thinkers were unhappy with its communal interpretation. Hence, Congress Working Committee appointed a 7-member flag committee. Dr. B. Pattabhi Sitaramaya, the convener of the committee, solicited views from a number of freedom fighters and scholars. Jawaharlal Nehru opined that the flag should not be based on communal consideration. He also pointed out that the white color at the top is not aesthetically pleasing. Hence, he suggested white color to come in the middle. Various suggestions poured in. Charaka was limited to the middle white band only, and red was replaced by saffron. In 1939, the World War broke out. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose went out of the country. His sole aim was to free India from the clutches of the British. He led the Indian prisoners of war under this version of tricolour. August 1942. Gandhiji launched the Chale Jao movement. Thousands of people joined the movement with the tiranga. Prominent Congress leaders were arrested, yet the flag was flying high on the streets of Bombay. Aruna Asaf Ali came forward to hoist the tricolour with full honour at the Gowalia Tank Maidan. Police resorted to lathi charge and tear gas shelling to disperse the crowd. In Midnapur, Matangini Hazra was brutally shot in the head, but she held the tricolour flying high till her last breath. In Assam, a tender Kanakalata laid her life while hoisting the tricolour on the collectorate office. In Patna, 7 students fell to the bullets of the police. Their only crime was hoisting the flag. Hoisting the flag became a symbol for the indomitable spirit of the Satyagrahis. British government managed to crush the movement, but realized that it was time for them to quit India. In 1947, the national leaders also realized the need for a national flag of free India acceptable to all political parties. An ad hoc committee was formed for the same. For the Free India flag, the Charaka was replaced by the Ashoka Chakra of Saranath pillar. The aspect ratio was fixed at 2:3 as seen. This flag was adopted by the Constituent Assembly on the 22nd July 1947. Thus, Tiranga, or the national flag, was born. On the 15th of August 1947, with swearing-in ceremony of the new government, this Tiranga was hoisted in the central dome of the Council House. Next day, that is on the 16th, it was hoisted on the ramparts of the Red Fort in the presence of public. Yet, the struggle for the Tiranga was not over. Nizam of Hyderabad declined to be a part of India. But Sardar Patel, the Iron Man of India, took a firm stand, and hence Tiranga could fly in the skies of the Hyderabad state on the 17th September 1948. On the 16th August 1954, the administration of French coastal settlement of Pondicherry was transferred to India. Goa, Diu, Daman a tiny coastal land was ruled by the Portuguese. Portuguese government did not show any sign of respecting the people's sentiments. Freedom fighters from Goa and neighboring part of Maharashtra had to resort to satyagraha under this flag. And ultimately, on the 19th December 1961, Goa was liberated and the tiranga was hoisted in Panaji. Our Tiranga Yatra does not end here. It has inspired all Indians on a course of adventure. On the Mount Everest, the highest peak in the world, in the icy continent of Antarctica, at the South Pole, Rakesh Sharma took it into space. Tiranga has toured 30,000 nautical miles in the high seas of the world.
Karnataka Khadi Gramodyav Sangha, Hubli, is the only unit in the entire country recognized by Khadi and Villages Commission to manufacture the national flags as per DI's norms and rules. And these national flags are hoisted at the Red Fort and Rashtrapati Bhavan and the Parliament House and other government departments. The national flags are sold or used by the entire country, not only entire country, in abroad also we are supplying the national flags. Very recently, Uma Bharati has used these flags in the Tiranga Yatra from Hubli.
Though the flag is flying high in the skies of our great country, the flag is deep rooted in Indian soil. Saffron denotes renunciation or sacrifice. The white represents light, truth and purity. The green is symbolic of life, progress and prosperity, and our relation to the soil. The Ashoka wheel is an image for movement, change and eternity. The same wheel may represent the Sudarshana Chakra if the war is imposed. Thus, the Tiranga represents life and the realization of ultimate goals. This flag has evolved during the last century. It has moved from the hands of millions of patriotic Indians, irrespective of caste creed. This flag has seen Indian masses from oppression to freedom. It is an epitome of India's struggle for freedom and economic independence. Coming back to the questions in the beginning of the program, flag so important? Yes, it is. Should we all respect it? Yes, we must. Is it so sacred? Indeed it is. The person in the photograph seems to be fast asleep and is unaware of the significance of the Tiranga. Let us wake him. Then, for sure, he will also join us in saluting the Tiranga.
Jai